Hey people, welcome to another exciting episode of Who's an Anime with your host Steve and Colin. That's me.
Hello,
I'm, I'm
Anthony.
Colin. He's Steve.
Um,
He's Steve.
yes, point at the right direction for the video.
Yes, Cactus Jack stuff. And we're
Bang
still
bang.
talking about Bang Bang. That's what.
Sorry, my Xbox is on and just made a very loud noise.
Oh, oh,
I'm
that's.
not sure if that got heard or not, so apologies.
I did not hear it. I just saw your face.
Oh, that's okay. My face
Uh,
always looks like that.
no, no, it's a new face. Anyway, we're still talking about the Melancholy Haruhi Suzumiya, and if you've listened to the
Yep,
last episode, you now should know that we're talking about Endless Eight saga,
sure are.
and we described essentially what's happened in the last episode in Endless Eight, and now we're going to talk about Endless Eight 3 and 4. Yay! So
Yeah,
this was the reason we kind of decided to watch this because it was a relatively decent anime for the first season, and then released the second season, and then did this Endless Eight, which got quite a response.
yeah.
And after
So
watching the the last 4 episodes, I can see the reason why it got a such a response.
yeah. So in episodes 3 and 4, nothing really changes.
No, no,
Nothing,
nothing
nothing
does.
really changes from episode 2 and from episode 1. And I would advise that you go back and listen to the first episode we recorded on this so we can understand the gist. But hey, we're probably going to repeat ourselves a billion times anyway. So
Us,
to give you an idea, it's the 17th of August uh, at the start of every episode, and it's the last 2 weeks of summer, and they gotta enjoy the last 2 weeks of summer until August 31st. At which point, it all fucking starts again.
yeah, but it's literally 2 weeks repeating time loop cycle. So there is
Yep.
some interesting aspects later on, not in these 2 episodes. No,
No,
these two
so I
episodes
have
are.
this will be a short episode, Colin. there is not a lot to talk about. Normally, what we would do is we would talk in turn about the episodes, but the similarities are. Let's talk a little bit about that. We did a little bit about that in the first couple of episodes when we discussed them last time,
Mhm.
where it's this idea that I don't fundamentally actually have a problem with this as a concept. I think as a concept, it's actually really quite clever. I, however, do think that it's this is clearly sort of like a high concept thing that does not translate well into delivery to people because the problem is that the subtleties and the changes are so minor and so slight throughout each iteration, which is an episode at a time. So there's like 20 minutes of content that iterates very minorly
Yeah.
each time.
Yeah, yeah. I suppose it'd be about 20, just over 20 minutes.
Yeah, and so I suppose I think my main issue with it so far is that it doesn't feel like it's progressing anywhere. And in actuality, I feel like it's almost like the desired impact from the writers and creators is to give the viewer the same level of frustration that the characters find on that last day at the end of every episode.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah, because you're living the life and repeating the same thing
Yeah.
over and
Uh,
over,
uh,
over and
Even
over.
worse, it's like I feel like we're Nagato in this circumstance because we remember everything. We remember every iteration. Um,
Yeah.
and we should probably say like there's a couple of things. I think like in this instance we're on like
What?
nearly 15,500. I think it's 15,499 loops
Yeah.
basically, which is around nearly 600 years essentially have passed.
Well, that's
Uh,
5.5 years or something to work it out to.
did you
Five
say
five
five and a
hundred,
half years?
500, 5.5, 550. That's
I
what
think
should
it's
mean.
596 years.
I don't know. Did he actually go through the calculations?
I did.
He did. Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
like 595 point something. I legitimately was like, that sounds like a great number of years. I need to know how many years that is.
They,
Um,
they say it in the episode.
yeah,
Kyon
it
goes and starts thinking about it. So one thing to note. So this is like this the possibly the second iteration that they are aware of. It's happening. Essentially, it's the second number because last time they asked Nagito about the number in episode 2 of this was only
yes,
1,100.
14,498. I think 15,498. Sorry.
Yeah, 15,498.
Now
And
we're on
then
15,499.
yeah,
But I mean that's in the first episode. It then jumps a number of iterations to like 15,513.
yeah. So in this one, I think Koizumi makes light of the situation. I think it's this one where
Um,
he goes doesn't make light of the situation, but Kyon asks like, what's going on? I can explain it. We're doing a time loop," and then repeats that like 3 times.
yes, he does, and it's like I'm quite angry you're doing this.
Yeah,
I was with Kyon on that. I was pissed off. Like that's a very annoying thing to do.
that's a dick move. Yeah, but yeah, they do pretty much everything that's happened before. I can't remember. Does Kyon start talking to Nagito in this one behind in the baseball field, going, "Why didn't you
Yep,
intervene?"
yep,
And she's just like, "Oh, I'm just an observer."
yep. We get the usual answer, which
Yeah,
is, "Oh, I don't do things. I
I
just
just
watch."
watched. Yeah, and
So
then
yeah,
the fourth episode is very much the same. Only they're done 1,005, 15,513 times or something like that.
yeah, 15,513. I think we should state that I think like the one thing, the one level of detail that does increment noticeably throughout the episodes is Kyon, the way Kyon sort of reads this dialogue or speaks. There's a level of increasing familiarity with the situation without really knowing what's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
So like I think it might be the third or fourth episode where he not only does he recognize that the kids at the pool, you know, the Haruhi brings over,
Uh huh.
not only does he recognize that they're about to say something, but I think he says it while they're saying it.
Does maybe that one, and also he has the days of view feeling that Harry is going to phone him at the start of every episode from now
Yep.
on. Uh,
Yes. Yeah. It's
ah, and that's bit. Well, I suppose it's the Bond festival. He has the feeling that he's been there a while.
so I having read the subtitles this time, it's Bon 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 Festival.
Yes, I read
You're
the not the
after
subtitles.
not having a fucking clue what the name of it was the first time. Yeah, it's a Bon Festival.
Yeah.
Um, I actually remembered there's a line of dialogue in the first episode, I believe it is, where the day they're going bug hunting, Kyon says that, you know, despite wishing it would rain, and I even like he says I even like stabbed some sort of Itsuki. I can't remember the name of it, but I looked it up and it's basically like a little weather doll. It looks like a little ghost.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that was a nice little detail that never gets mentioned again.
No,
Weirdly,
because he never mentions not wanting to do it again. He's always like, "Oh, look,
yeah,
it's a great day for bug hunting."
yeah,
It's
it's annoying.
also
Um,
something that was never mentioned again, maybe just for quickness. They state that she doesn't. She was going to. Oh, I wonder if the cicadas still taste good cooked in the first episode. And it's like, what?
that's right. Don't say that. Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
I don't think there's a great deal of difference beyond that in these two episodes. Like the continuing theme that runs between the two episodes is essentially that there is that increasing sense of familiarity with the situation, and but each time nothing changes. Like it starts again.
yeah. The only other thing I would state would be maybe at the end of the restaurant where she says, "Oh, like that's great, everything's done. We do have that day spare type thing." And Kyon's like, "I got to do something here, but I don't know what because I
Yeah,
can't
and then
remember."
doesn't.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then doesn't.
she's. We get lots of familiar dialogue, like what is it she's been saying, and that'll cost 800 yen, and we're gonna play pool soccer, and these are these two are my SOS brigade members. They'll do anything you want. Like it just I'm so tired of these lines of dialogue. There is one very very different line of dialogue I think that appears I think in the third episode, and then continues as a trend. Is when they're doing the stargazing, and Kyon and Koizumi are are discussing like a way to try and end the loop, because this is after they've spoken about the discovering it's a loop.
Yeah,
Um, and Koizumi suggests that he's like, well, what if you were to like whisper to Haruhi that you loved her, or that some that I say I love you, and it's like, but who would do that? And like that suggestion, he's like, no, absolutely not
no,
doing that.
veto that.
Which whatever. And then, but then, sort of like, there's this weird piece of dialogue that does again persist, where Koizumi says it's like, oh, maybe I'll do it, and then sort of laughs to himself. He goes, no, I don't think I'm really up to that. Also, that would probably confuse Haruhi.
Yeah,
Um, so here's the thing that I'm curious about, and I don't know why it hasn't really occurred to me until now.
uh-huh.
But is Koizumi supposed to be gay?
I don't know. It's kind of underlying thing. Maybe he does have a
Yeah,
softer tone voice,
but I think
but
that's true. I think there's a couple of things that kind of like I almost got, because the thing I suppose that I've noticed about this is that Kyon is very much, despite Haruhi being the god of the world and things like that, Kyon's the center of attention for all the female characters.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
they all have a little bit of interest in him, and he has a little bit of interest in them, respectively. There's
yeah,
a sort of a mutual thing there, for all of them. He loves them in different ways. But I never really got that with Koizumi, but they always play board games, and they're always kind of joking and competing with each other in sort of like a kind of affectionate way. And then it occurred to me that in the past, when Haruhi had like basically forced what's her name? I've completely blanked on her name now.
which one? The one that tried to stab Kyon.
Time traveler, Mikuru.
Oh, Mikuri, yeah.
Yeah, in the past, when Haruhi has tried to force Mikuru to change, like of
Uh-huh.
course, like Kyon goes just like, oh god, and like ends up running out the room. But I realized that I think there's a couple of instances where Koizumi doesn't. He
Eh,
just stays in the room.
he- yeah, he gets kicked out, sure. Eventually.
But I just it occurred to me. I wondered if like there was like always that sort of subtext throughout it, and I found it really interesting because I've always found the sort of interaction between Kyon and Koizumi quite interesting, and
Yeah,
I feel like the interaction on the rooftop because it's where are they? They're on
Nagato's apartment.
Nagato's apartment building roof. Yeah,
Yeah,
like the way the way that conversation kind of goes across is almost like there's a little bit of jealousy there that he's having to push Kyon to have a conversation with like to try and get him to say things to Harry to try and end it in
yeah.
a sort of a weird, playful way. And I think it's a thing.
You think it's a
I
thing?
don't think I'm imagining it. I think it's a thing.
So what you're saying, right? The world doesn't revolve around Harry. It revolves around Kyon. 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 Kyon.
Kind of think so, almost. Like
Yeah.
it's everyone has been drawn. Everyone thinks they're being drawn to Haruhi because she's destructive or could be destructive. But you know that who's to say that they're there because of her? Like her desire to have them there, is that her desire to have them, or is that his desire for them to be in a situation where it's now safe for them to exist together? Like is is Kyon keep kind of bubble wrapping the whole situation?
Maybe. I mean, he claims at the start of the whole show that he didn't believe in any of that crap and hasn't
Yeah,
believed in it for ages. And then it wasn't until he meet Harry.
yeah, and
Harry.
he's super quick to turn on it as well.
Yeah.
You know, he's quick on that. I don't know. I just found it really interesting that I suppose there's a couple of ways to read it. Is that just subtext wise is that it just could be character development for Koisumi, that he is sort of he's kind of into Kyon as well, but also that you could then flip that back to Kyon as like who is driving interest from people because of his ability to sort of be in charge of the situation without really knowing it almost.
Yeah.
I just find it. I thought it's the one thing out of these two episodes that have made me sort of quite curious about how that would play out or how that might play out, and it did get me thinking about sort of like, particularly since you know we talked the episodes of the Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, like we're part 6, where you know Kyon and Haruhi kiss to sort of end
Hmm.
the what do you call it, space,
Close. Close space.
close flow space, like, so there's something there. um and I kind of I was wondering, it's like, okay, so here's the push. Here is the push is that she's not getting the attention from Kyon during this summer break, and
Yeah.
I think that you know Koizumi has cottoned on to that and is trying to, he's like, I think this is the way we need to try and go. But it really frustrated me, his reluctance to try that, anything, like to even try that, where it's like, he's like, you could get out of this, apparently, maybe, like you could stop this today,
Yeah.
but you're refusing to for some some unknown reason. But yeah, yeah, that's my sort of, I think my one major talking point from this is I thought that that was it finally kind of clicked with me, that maybe there's another part of the relationship between Kyon and Koizumi that I hadn't thought about before.
Maybe. I don't think it's ever openly suggested though. It's very openly suggested with the
No,
girls. But
oh, totally. I suppose that's the kind of nice thing about it, is it's quite subtle. Like there's no need to be overt about it. Like um I think that I suppose it's the sort of fan servicey nature of things, is like where obviously Kyon fawns over the women because of how they look.
yeah.
But he has no he well he's straight, I assume. Again, I don't know. So he has no reason to fawn over Koizumi.
Charisma. Yeah.
So there's this kind of dynamic where it's like he kind of knows it's maybe non-reciprocal, but kind
Yeah.
of subtly hints at things. I don't know. Like there's just there's something there. I think that I would God, I hope they kind of maybe think a little bit more about. But you know,
I don't know,
I
man.
could be reading too much into it. But
Yeah, was I also want to note, I think in the fourth episode, Kyon starts to try and talk to Nagito after the first day, after the
yes, he
restaurant.
does.
He goes,
Yep.
Nagito, wake up. How you doing?
Yep.
And then he goes, why did I want to talk to her again?
It's not important or anything. Uh,
That started
but
happening
you
later.
know,
Yeah.
I think so. There's something about this that I felt about this was the end at the restaurant where Haruhi's leaving. The part where he feels drawn to talk to Nagato.
Yeah.
Uh, it's to me that was reading as like these are inflection points. These are moments that you can affect change for the better or for the worse, but you can affect change to hopefully end the loop. Maybe that's what I was kind of reading into it. Is like it's trying to sort
Yeah.
of. I don't even think it's that heavy-handed. It was just I I think it was relatively subtle in that way, or would have been quite subtle in that way of sort of saying it's like maybe this is the thing where where you're saying is like, well, why is it I wanted to talk to her again? Like I didn't need to. It's like, yeah, but you were drawn to, so surely there was something important, or maybe there would be something important that you would have to say.
Yeah. Maybe he was getting worried about the thing and he wants to try and see what Nigel was thinking about. Even though she doesn't ever let on that she already knows that they've done it 15,000 odd times.
Oh man,
Uh,
crazy.
so,
Okay.
I totally, at the end of this episode, essentially, I think we're done talking about it. Should note, we are also, we're watching these in broadcast order, not chronological order.
Oh. Although
It,
I suppose that's less important now.
yeah, yeah, since in season two, essentially what we move on to. But I think it's part three end of season one and then part four start of season two.
It gets a bit funny. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, we
uh,
are we are watching this in the broadcast order and not the chronological order.
not the order it's shown on Funimation.
Although it has been nice to just let the episodes run for once.
Yeah, yeah, I had to skip the credits so I can cut time. um,
That too.
so and I'll also break from a bit normal. We're not going to rate these episodes because they're very much the same, and it's
I
very
feel
hard.
like we would just have to apply a blanket rating across these two. Like you would just give them the same, and if I'm honest, I'm sitting about a 5. Like I'm at this point in time, I'm really curious about what on earth is going on still. But not enough's changing for me to make it feel like it's really hooking me.
Moving
So,
on, yeah, it's not. It does raise questions about it. Um,
what about you? What do you
yeah,
think?
yeah, five is probably would be about right. It's kind of, huh? Yeah, wow, it's
It's
like the
very
same
much,
episode four times. In fact,
yeah. It's,
I shared
your
a
phone is ringing. You don't need to tell me that. I didn't need to
yeah.
know. Yeah.
Oh, is it in the fourth episode that her little sister makes some comment about the home run?
Maybe.
Says, "Oh, this guy's going to do a
I
home run." I knew it.
I wish that some of these changes had more weight to them.
Oh yeah, and in one episode, she's sitting at the table behind the sofa, drawing away,
Yeah.
not watching the game.
Oh, That is something I did notice, is that the order that they're sitting in at the table at the restaurant changes. Sometimes Mikuru is sitting in between Haruhi and Nagato, and other times she's sitting across the table with Kyon and Koizumi. So
Yeah, yeah, it's true. It changes all the time. Also, yeah. Anyway, fives all round. Let's
yeah,
uh let's call it there. A nice short episode for you guys.
yep.
Because
You are you have been listening to Who's That Anime, as you know this is a podcast. We are available where all good podcasting tools are available. We are on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Spotify, um, anchor.fm// who's that anime. You're probably already listening to us if you are listening to this anyway, so that's cool. But it'd be really awesome if you were to maybe give us some sort of star rating on any of the platforms that you can, or leave a review, leave us a comment, or share with a friend if you think that think they'd be interested. We also have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com// who's that anime. Mostly used for posting when the new episodes have dropped. And second to that is, every now and then we'll post some anime memes about random stuff. Um, Colin is on Twitch at twitch.tv/couchfuel, playing some games. That is also a YouTube channel. You can search for that on YouTube by just looking for Couch Fuel. That's 2 words. There's hundreds of hours, I think, of entertainment at this point on Couch Fuel.
must be about that. It's been going for a few years, that's for sure.
There's definitely some stuff on there. What are you playing at the moment?
Biomutant is what I've been playing
That's right.
currently. Uh, I'm probably still currently. 'Cause it's not exactly a small game, and I've only played like
No,
a couple hours every Monday for the
but
last
yeah,
three
you
three
can
weeks.
yeah, you can check him out on twitch.tv/couchfuel. If you're into horror games, I sometimes play horror games on twitch.tv/Hail Payman. There's a YouTube channel as well that you can find by searching for Hail Payman on YouTube. I'll leave links for the Twitch channels and the Facebook page in the show notes. And
Yeah,
that's about it.
yeah. So, it's this has been it's goodbye from him.
And goodbye from me also.
Also, yeah, not me. I'm not saying goodbye, but
Never.
goodbye, guys, and listen to our next episode on Melancholy Haruhi's Suzumiya, as we talk about Endless 8 parts 5 and 6. Fun times.
As we talk about Endless Eight forever.
Forever. Uh, anyway,
We're
ciao
in a
for now.
time loop. We're in a time loop,
Time loop.
and we're just going to continue to talk about Endless Eight until we figure out how to get out of the time loop.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, that'll be in 2 episodes, so you're okay. You're
I
cutting out.
I
You,
hope so.
you can't.
No spoiler.
You can't out watching 8 episodes into like 4.
Good point.
Right.
Right. We out. Bye,
We're out.
guys.
Bye bye.